her own thoughts, and she didn't hear the teacher. Mrs. Okoro reprimanded her, and Yuzo felt a surge of anger. She tried to control herself, but her emotions seemed to be simmering just below the surface. Suddenly, Yuzo's hand shot out, and she grabbed Mrs. Okoro's arm. She didn't mean to, but her body seemed to be acting on its own. Mrs. Okoro cried out in pain, and the class fell silent. Yuzo realized what she had done, and she felt a wave of horror wash over her. She had beaten her teacher, and she didn't know why. The class erupted into chaos, and Yuzo's classmates screamed and ran away. Mrs. Okoro tried to shake Yuzo off, but Yuzo's grip was tight. She seemed to be in a trance-like state, and she didn't respond to her surroundings. As the days passed, Yuzo's behavior became more erratic. She would lash out at her classmates, and she seemed to be losing control. Her parents were worried, and they didn't know what to do. They took her to see a doctor, but the doctor couldn't find anything wrong with her. The community began to talk about Yuzo, and they whispered among themselves about her strange behavior. Some people said she was possessed, while others claimed she was cursed. Yuzo's parents were at a loss, and they didn't know how to help their daughter. As the tension built, Yuzo's situation became more and more dire. She was trapped in a living nightmare, and she didn't know how to escape. Her desire to bite grew stronger, and she felt like she was losing herself to her darker impulses. The villagers began to demand that Yuzo be punished for her actions. They said she was a danger to herself and others, and they called for her to be burned alive. Yuzo's parents were torn, and they didn't know what to do. They loved their daughter, but they were afraid of what she might do. Yuzo's fate hung in the balance, and it seemed like her future was uncertain. Would she be able to control her desires, or would she succumb to her darker impulses? The suspense was palpable, and the outcome was far from certain. Superscript 2. As Yuzo stood on the edge of the precipice, she felt a sense of dread wash over her. She knew she was running out of time, and she didn't know what the future held. The darkness seemed to be closing in around her, and she felt like she was losing herself to the shadows. In the midst of the chaos, Yuzo's thoughts turned to the old woman who had given her the biscuit. She wondered if the woman had